Skyzone.Society.
Yo, y'all already know what it is. Welcome to the Zone Sports Podcast. You know what I mean? I'm half of the host, Big V. I got my guy over here. You see him?
What's up, man? It's your boy COOLC, aka Corey,
Mm-hmm.
holding it down, man. Yeah, got some stuff to get into, man. I'm
Oh,
loving it,
man.
man. Loving it.
Man.
Good
Yes,
stuff.
yes, sir. Got some good sports talk to get into. You know what I mean? Before we start the pod, though, let me shout out everybody who's been tuning in. We appreciate everybody who's been tuning in, giving the feedback, tapping
Word up.
in. You know what I mean? All the calls, the texts, we definitely appreciate that, man. Keep them coming. You know
Word
what I
up.
mean? And shout out to everybody who's listening on SoundCloud and on YouTube. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all visit Skyzone.Society.bigcartel.com. You know what I mean? Make sure you get your tees, you feel me? Your hats, you know what I
Word
mean? Your
up.
candles, you know what I mean? Your sweats, get everything we got on there. You know what I mean? But yo, man, it's time to get in the zone, man. Let's get in the
Man,
zone, man. Let's
man,
talk
let's
some
talk
sports,
sports,
baby.
man. Let's do it.
Know what I mean? Let's start it off with the retirement of Lemarcus Aldridge. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Out of the blue, very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you if you don't know, the homie Lemarcus Aldridge, who just joined the Brooklyn Nets not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the transition from the San Antonio Spurs, he retired suddenly due to an irregular heartbeat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Very, very unfortunate, man.
Absolutely.
Um, I know a little bit about irregular heartbeats
All
myself.
right.
My wife was born with one. You know what I mean, and some of them can be frightening depending on your
Mm,
situation. You know what I
okay.
mean, and I definitely respect the fact that he wants to put his health first.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's definitely most important. I'm glad he's choosing to put his health first over the alleged ring that everybody think that the Brooklyn Nets are
Yeah.
going to get this year. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of players, I feel like maybe wouldn't have made that decision to
Hmm.
retire because that ring is just it's so important, Corey, to the to so many people,
It's
to
that
so many
legacy talk,
players.
man.
Man,
Yeah.
it's the legacy talk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd rather him, go out this way than go out tragically like a
Man.
you
Heck
know,
yeah.
there's so many players that we know that went out tragically, such as Reggie Lewis back for our
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
collapse
You're
on
right.
the
I forgot
court.
about that.
Yeah, man. He played for the Boston Celtics. If you don't know, in the '90s, he collapsed on the court. Go look it up for yourself, Reggie Lewis.
Yeah.
Um, of course, we know, Len Bias. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
we
yeah.
know we all know what happened to him. If you don't know and you're very young, look up Len Bias on Google and just do the knowledge on that, and you will definitely probably understand putting your health before a ring, man. Um,
Absolutely.
um, Solid basketball player, Lemarcus Aldridge.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he did his thing with the Spurs. He looked like he was headed to do his thing with the Nets.
Yeah.
Uh, Great career. He balled out in Portland. Spent some time out there in Portland
Yeah.
with the Trailblazers. Um, Overall, just solid career, man. Um, I did hear that in his rookie season, he was diagnosed with some kind
Mm.
of I think it was some kind of I'm gonna look it up. It's some kind of Parkinson. Not Parkinson. I don't want to say that, but it's some kind of other thing he was diagnosed with during his rookie year.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if that played a part within his heart. It was called Wolf Parkinson White syndrome.
Okay. Hey, I definitely don't know what that is, but it sounds like something serious.
Yeah. It said that it's an abnormality that can cause a rapid heartbeat.
Phew.
So
Man.
yeah, so I'm guessing that this is something he's been dealing with at least
Yeah.
since his rookie year. So
Yeah.
yeah, Lemarcus, man, hats off on a solid career. Never heard about you really getting in too much trouble.
Yeah.
Um Stay, stay solid his whole career.
Yeah.
And this is another time in his career where he's choosing to stay solid and doing what's right for his health, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to salute him because for one, he's been in the NBA for 15 years.
15 years.
Um 15 years. And like you said, started off with Portland. He was a beast there.
Yeah.
He was kind of more of a system player in San Antonio. And then you kind of felt like he was getting his just due by going to Brooklyn, who, was definitely a championship contender, you love it or hate it. And they definitely said that he's actually the specific heart issue. He's been dealing with it for the past couple of years, actually. This specific one, or whatnot, that was at least brought to people's attention, and he would have cases of these before, from what was said through ESPN and whatnot. But this specific one really scared him, and when when you start doing things, it's all about really what you want to get out of life. And when I heard about this last week, it immediately brought me to Chris Bosh with the blood clots, right? And how Chris Bosh, even though he was a champion, he still wanted to play. And I could totally understand Miami and any other organization for that matter saying, "Hey, man, look, not on our watch." I mean, because you like it's always the employer's responsibility. So when the employee comes and tell them something, it now I don't pass the buck off to you. What are you going to do as an organization to keep me safe? Every employer has the responsibility and due diligence of providing a safe workplace, right? And I tell you, look, could he have went on and finished out this season? I don't know, right? And I really salute him because you can argue that this is probably the best chance that he had at getting a ring this year. You could argue that, or whatnot. And for him to be like, man, you know what, man, life is more important than a piece of jewelry. And I get it; it's more than a piece of jewelry. It symbolizes what no one aspires to go to the NBA to not win a championship. Nobody aspires to go to the NFL and not win a Super Bowl. So it is something, even if it's just one to have under your belt, whether you are a role player, whether you only played 10 minutes during that whole playoff stretch. I got my ring. I was there for the ring ceremony. So I could only imagine the choice that he had to make. And I really salute him because when Chris Bosh kept saying he still wanted to play, me as a non-athlete was like, dude, you are insane, right? I mean, he went on a campaign saying, hey, I could still play. Even when Miami released him from the contract, he was on ESPN's First Take at the time saying, hey, well, look, I'm available. Whoever want to sign me, I'm here. I'm ready to ball. I still got a few years left. And worst case, I can contribute to a team. And I think that is the mindset of an athlete that I would never be able to understand. Or whatnot. So that's why I say huge props to Lemarcus Aldridge and saying, you know what, man, the hell with it. I'm out. My life, my family. I can't do anything with this ring if I'm dead, right? And anytime I've hear of any type of heart issue, it always gives me, as Stephen A. Smith would say, cause to pause in that. And I really have to salute him. I definitely wish him well moving forward. I think he's a smart individual to do that. I'm quite sure financially he's fine. If he's a remote, decent, smart guy as he carries himself on and off the court, if he's half of that financially, man, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. And I don't know. This is always the default answer of when athletes retire. Do they want something in coaching? Maybe as an assistant coach, do they want to go on the TV? Do they want to coach a high school? I mean, there are so many avenues, especially in the NBA. People would clamor for Lemarcus Aldridge to hold basketball training camps with their sons or daughters, or whatnot. And so it ain't like he doesn't have to do anything. It's just that, man, the 82 game regular season, you running up and down the court. I jog 2 miles every single day. And my average heart rate when I'm jogging is like anywhere between 130 to 150 to 160, right? And so if he's having rapid heartbeats without any of that happening, that to me, that's scary. But I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to stuff like that. So I may be overplaying it, but salute to him, salute to his family. And I think he is just a smart brother that he have continuously been throughout his 15-year career.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
Let's keep it in. Let's keep it NBA, man.
Man. Oh. I love this one.
Man, listen. Let's talk about Steph Curry and this tear this boy has been on.
Let's talk about that.
Corey.
Let's talk about that.
This boy Steph has been blanking the hell out, son. First of all, man,
he's unconscious, man.
You know, if you haven't been tapping into the NBA, Steph Curry recently broke Wilt Chamberlain's scoring record for the Golden State Warriors. Man, anytime your name is mentioned with Wilt Chamberlain, whether it be basketball or sex, you are the man.
Fact, especially with the latter. my man allegedly has went platinum in the latter. Platinum, a million records sold.
You know what I mean? Hey, man. Hey. That boy Steph putting up Wilt numbers and breaking them, man. It's incredible, man. One night he had 50, couple nights he even had 40. I mean, even I don't know if you saw him against Boston the other night. Man, in a loss.
Yes, I did.
Man, that boy in the loss, like he put up there, I think he put up 47 that game in the loss. I could be wrong. It was in the 40s.
That's about right. That's about right, man.
If if Steph Curry wasn't out there cooking that night, man, I'm gonna tell you how good that boy is, man. He make you forget.
Talk to the people.
Man, listen. I had to go and check the Golden State Warriors record. And I think that night, and I think this was Saturday when they played the Celtics. I think so.
Yes, it was a Saturday night primetime game on ABC.
Man, listen. I went and checked that record during the game. There were about, I think, 28 and 28. Corey, that boy's so good, man. He makes you forget that they are basically just above water this season. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but let me tell you something, man. The NBA is getting to start this play-in system. And let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, they do not want to see the Golden State Warriors or Steph playing the way he's playing. Let me tell y'all something. You want them boys to come in on a 7 or 8 seed if you want to, and think they're gonna be a McFlurry? Boy, let me tell you, man.
And that's why I'm nervous being a Lakers fan sliding down to the playoff to the playing game, because that is things I don't want to happen. But go ahead. That's the reason why Golden State are playing like the way they are. Is the same reason why I'm scared of the play-in tournament as a Lakers fan. But go ahead, because of shit like that.
Corey, I'm telling you now, man. If Steph keeps playing, I'm not even gonna say if, because let me remind people, they might be 28 and 28. But ladies and gentlemen, this boy is a champion.
Don't let that fool you.
You feel me?
Yes, sir.
He is a champion,
yes, sir.
Not once, twice. But how many times,
yes,
Corey? How many times that boy got that ring? Oh, my goodness. Come on, man.
Back-to-back MVP.
Come on, man.
Bro.
What? Come on.
Unanimous.
Come on.
Hey.
Change the game.
Can I read out some recent games for you while I kind of pause your soliloquy for a second?
Read out the
April the 10th per ESPN.com. Per ESPN.com on April the 10th against Houston, 38 points. A light night, right? And a win, by the way. Mm-hmm. April the 12th against Denver, 53 points. Wednesday, April the 14th, 42 points. April the 15th against Cleveland. Oh, this was a soft night. 33 points. And the game you referred to is Saturday, as you so eloquently put it, 47 points. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Listen, man. That boy averaging about 30 a game, Corey. It's not even funny.
It's crazy.
It's not even funny. Like easy. Like you said, he giving you 30 on a light night.
On a light night. On a light night. Make you want to say on a light night to make you say night. Okay?
Listen. Boy, I mean, Corey, if you watch the game on Saturday when he played against the Celtics, he hit shots that he wasn't even supposed to hit. Man, I watched them boys double team that boy in the corner, and he just say, "Yo, watch out now." It didn't even matter. Threw it. I watched that boy on some 4-point play type where he went under the guy, threw it up all crazy, and still, man, I said, "Man, listen."
Off his left hand, and look, his foot was on the line. That could have been a 3 when that happened. I mean, an off-balance shot, like, oh, let me just go ahead and just throw this up and see what happens, and the shit went in. Can I tell you something about Steph Curry as it relates to the Smith household? Because this stuff here, I did a little bit of investigating. First of all, Steph Curry is not a human being. He's not. You want to know who my wife and I call Steph Curry in our household, in the Smith household?
What's that?
We call him Jesus. That's who we call him. And you may say, well, why do you call him Jesus? Well, again, see, here at the Zone, we dive deep here. We don't just bring you scores and stats and just analyze our opinions and stuff like that. I found out why Steph Curry is so good at what he does. Because it's not him.
Who is?
It's Jesus. It's Jesus. And I'm gonna tell you what, because see, I was taught as a little boy to say your prayers every night. And I do. I pray every night before I go to bed. And an epiphany hit me from Jesus Christ himself. And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what is it with this guy? Because this guy's not human. And he said, my son, my faithful servant, I too love NBA basketball. And I always wanted to be an NBA player, but my name is Jesus Christ. So I could do whatever I want. And so here's what he told me. Here's what Jesus told me, between me, you, and everybody else that's listening. He infuses himself into Steph Curry's body and play basketball. He only missed shots so it won't appear that something is off to everybody else. But Jesus, he gets bored up in heaven and he comes down. He infuses himself in Jesus Christ's body and he plays basketball. There, you heard it from me. You're welcome. You're welcome. His name is Jesus Christ. And every time that he hits a 3, I always yell out, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the light, because that's what he is.
You know
that's what happens.
You know what?
That's what happens.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
You saying that makes me believe that. And you know why? Because it's a reason why I yell Jesus Christ too when he shoots. It's a reason. Who knew? Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you. I dig deep.
Who
dig
knew?
deep. Hey,
Jesus Christ.
It just didn't look right, man.
Curry.
Let me tell you something real quick, man. We've seen, and I'm not saying Steph Curry is the greatest basketball player of all time, but what I am saying, he's the greatest shooter of all time, because we've seen the Jordans, the Kobes, the LeBrons, and they're all phenomenal talents. And again, I'm not saying one better than the worst. That's a whole separate podcast. But if you're going to sit up here and say what Steph Curry does is normal, you're out of your mind. Because let me tell you something. Kevin Durant ain't on that team anymore. Mm-hmm. Guess who gets doubled every time they get the ball? Mm-hmm. Oh, by the name of Steph Curry. He is doing a lot of this shit in double coverage. I just figured that when KD left and with Klay Thompson not being there, listen, man, I just read off the past 5-6 games here. He is not supposed to be doing this. He's not. Kelly Oubre is out. Klay Thompson is out. Kevin Durant ain't there. He don't have too many other scoring options on that team. How is that? That's all I'm saying, man. I could give you if KD was on the team. And you know what? Scratch KD. I could give you if you still had Klay Thompson, because when you have Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, it is impossible. It's more so pick your poison, right? It's kind of like, and during the first half of the season, he was kind of, he's never shut down, but he was kind of limited because teams zeroed in on him. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's going to be tough. And Draymond Green is not really much of a scoring option. And he is still overcoming the odds. It's like he's figured out how to avoid the double team, or how to still make you just look like you got egg on your face, or that you're running around with 2 left feet. These points, this is not supposed to be happening. And it's happening because Jesus said so. I can't explain it. Let me tell you, if you're not watching these games, and you're right about the record, because you look at the record of Golden State and it seems very misleading. Oh, well, they're just a half and half team, yeah, whatever. No, dude, let me tell you something, man. Anytime that Golden State is on team, and I get it, they're West Coast, I get it. Hey, if you fall asleep and you got to go to work in the morning like me, DVR the game, watch it the next day. These highlights on ESPN don't do it much justice, man.
No,
it is nothing like seeing it in real game time. This guy's freaking phenomenal, man. He just is. I held on to Reggie Miller being the greatest shooter of all time to about maybe 2 years ago. And I just say, you know what? Am I saying Reggie Miller because I'm old school, or am I just saying it because I just want to hold on? And I say, yeah, it's because I'm old school. Man, Steph Curry is the baddest mother father I've seen pick up a daggone basketball and do stuff with the shots that he does.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up that Reggie Miller point, because I had to have a talk with myself Saturday night, Corey. Because like you, I grew up in the Reggie Miller era. And
absolutely.
You said that you overcame that thought about Reggie Miller being the greatest shooter 2 years ago. Corey, I just came to that thought Saturday night. Fuck is you talking about?
Wow.
Bro, I was sitting there. Let me tell you something. Up until Saturday night, I still held Reggie Miller to be the greatest shooter that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, and this is regardless of what Steph has done and what I've seen Steph do.
Yep.
I said, man, listen.
Talking about individual shooting.
Man, you had to be there for Reggie Miller. You like, I'm telling you, just had to be there. You had to be there. It was must see.
Yeah.
But man, let me tell you, man.
Yes.
After Saturday night, and here's the thing, and I always hear Reggie Miller say, you know, Steph is the best. He said, man, people always want to put me in it. No, Reggie says Steph is the best. And I've heard him say that. And I've heard it. I said, yo, whatever. You're the best, Reggie.
He's being modest.
Yeah, I get it. No. Reggie's right. Reggie's right. Steph is the best. Yo, like Steph changed the game of shooting. Like
literally.
You have to respect the man who can pull up from the logo. And his coach now look like, what the fuck are you doing? His coach is looking like, yo, that is your shot. You know what I mean? Like, that is your shot. Like, you literally pulling up from the logo, and people are respecting it. Like it's a hand up on you. It's we have to pick up Steph half court, maybe quarter court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't. You know what I mean? Because he's that dangerous. Like, it's unreal.
He's extremely dangerous.
It is unreal.
He's dangerous. And I remember when Mark Jackson coached him before Steve Kerr got there. Yeah. And he was talking about Klay Thompson and Steph Curry years ago. Yeah. And he said that this is the illest backcourt in NBA history. And everybody, including myself, like, okay, you're just bigging up your team. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a good coach, man. I tell you what, I don't think he's off on that. No. By a long shot.
No.
At all. At all, man. I'm telling you. Again, people, watch him. Anytime he's on TV, you got to watch him, man. This guy is freaking phenomenal. He's just phenomenal.
And the way he's playing leads me to our next topic of who do you have picked for the NBA MVP thus far. I mean, you have so many people, not only Steph balling, you have other people as well that we can't even look over. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Right now, at this current moment, who do you have for your NBA MVP?
Man, as it stands today, he missed some games, but he didn't miss that many. I got to roll with Joel Embiid, man. I got to roll with Joel Embiid. Okay. This guy, you want to talk about a step up from the previous years from which he's been playing? This guy is averaging almost 30 points a game. Okay, a far cry. This dude has a damn 37% three-point percentage and shooting 51% in field goals. This is a career. Last year, I want to say last year he was averaging 24 points and he's up to 30. And I noticed the change immediately when the NBA crew, Shaq in particular, and Charles critiqued him. It was one game, and I can't remember because this was last year, where, Joel Embiid thought he did something where he had like 25 points. And you know how big bro Shaq is. Shaq ain't gonna let you off the hook. As he says,
Hey, Shaq get them big man hell as he's supposed to.
And he did. And I noticed the change almost immediately where he plays more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He plays smarter. Mm-hmm. And he has really elevated his game to the next level. I mean, I'm not saying he's Shaq, but he is Shaq-like in regards of what he does. And the fact that you have to respect him on the perimeter. He's not, and I'm not knocking Giannis, but Giannis is more so, all right, I'm going to pick it up at the top of the key and I'm going to come charging at you like a raging bull. And I'm going to take this 2-step Euro step and there's nothing you could do about it. Right. And that does work great during the regular season. They slow that and shut that down during the playoffs, as we've seen for the past 2 years with the Greek Freak, aka Giannis.
Right.
Joel Embiid has it elevated and advanced his game. He got a decent mid-range going on. He's shooting better from the three-point line. He's shooting better from the free throw lines. I mean, I got to get. I mean, if you want to hold him out because he missed a couple of games, I get. I want to say he missed maybe like 15 to 20. I could look that up in a bit, but bottom line, I got to go with Joel Embiid, man. His improvement and his dominance with that, and it's being reflected in the 76ers record of 39-17, man, and being number one in the East. I got to give it up to that guy, man, because he could have took that criticism and fold it and be like, oh man, you know what I like about him when they criticize him. Cass was like, oh well, what do you think about Shaq and Charles giving you a hard time? The first thing that came out of his mouth, they're right. I do need to step my game up. I could be, because a lot of young heads don't take it like that. It's that old get off my lawn. You don't know what you're talking about. You had your time. You just mad because you ain't making more money than I'm making. And Joel is like, nah, man, I'm listening to the G4 classified OGs. And he's a better man for it, and he's a better basketball player for it.
Absolutely.
That's my guy today.
I agree about him stepping his game up after the Shaq criticism. His mid-range game has definitely improved, man. And that's gonna be something that the Sixers can lean on going into the playoffs and when the games get longer. I love Joel Embiid's game. He still has that old man post-up game. And he's now becoming a threat as well as long range too, because he's shooting the three, you know, and I like that. I like that he's bringing and let's not even sleep on his handles either. He got a little bit of handles with him too. His game off the bounce is slept on. I feel his game off the bounce is slept on.
You're right.
I really believe that.
You're right.
I have a different pick for my NBA.
Who you got, big dog?
You know what I mean? I'm gonna go with this guy, man, who plays on a team that don't get a lot of TV time where we at. I gotta go. I gotta go with the Joker. I gotta go with Nikola Jokic, man, out of Denver. I got you.
I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that.
He
would be my number 2.
I gotta go with the Joker, man. Hey, you're talking 26 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and here's what I love: 8.8 assists per game. Understand what I'm telling you. Understand for a center. Understand
that's point guard territory with that amount of assists.
6'11", 248 pounds, 26 points a game, 11 boards, 8.8 assists per game. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all, man, if you haven't seen the Joker play, Nikola Jokic, man, please, when you get a chance to watch Denver play,
Joker,
promise you, sir. No big man in the league passes like the Joker. Nobody.
You're right.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 6'11", a center with the court vision of a Magic Johnson / Larry Bird. You know what I mean?
You're right.
He has the court vision of those two, in my opinion, of a Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about. I seen him pass behind his head. I've seen him pass like a pure point guard, Corey. It ain't even funny. And that's what really impresses me about his overall game, man. And
fair point.
And even in the bubble last year, he impressed me so well, man, because of his passing ability. That's what blows me out of the water, Corey, about him. Yeah. It's not his scoring. It's his passing ability, man. I mean, When is
Man,
the
you're
last
right.
time we seen a guy this big, man, passing that ball like that?
Not like that.
Not like
Uh,
that. For me personally, the last one I've seen
like that.
of this height and of this size, who comes to mind instantly? Vlade Divac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vlade could pass that
He's about the
ball,
only
man.
one.
It was about the only
Yeah.
one of that height and that magnitude. Shaq had
You're
a
right.
little bit of it too. Shaq a little bit, but not as good as the
Yeah.
Joker, man. The
But
Joker,
Jokic
man.
is tall as a skyscraper, bro.
What?
Like
Come on, man.
and let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Denver real quick, because I talked to my other friends about Denver as a whole, and I know a lot has been made about the 3-1 deficit that they overcome to beat the Clippers in the bubble last year. Denver has been that team.
Yes.
The issue with Denver is that they're on basically in West Coast time or Mountain time, and we just don't get to see them.
We don't get to
right?
see them.
We don't get to even when they're prime time, they're still at that like 9 or 10 o'clock window. They've been cold. I've been noon about Jokic. I've been noon about daggone Murray and all them boys. They're just on so late, and us in the East Coast, we just don't get to see them. Them cats has been nice. And you're right. There is a such thing as an East Coast bias. You are 110% correct. Denver has been that team. They really have. They really have, man.
Yeah, like I said, my MVP is definitely the Jokic, man. Salute to him. And Denver, man. I would hate to be the team that has to see them boys in the playoffs as well.
Man, I'm telling you, they just didn't get the credit that they deserve because the Clippers blew it. But look, the Clippers lost to a good team. And let me tell you something. When the Lakers when we played them last year in the bubble, I mean, I wasn't exactly 112,000% confident.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that was going to be a tough game, a tough series or whatnot. Nah, Denver, they strike fear in me the same way that Portland does. Again, Portland is another team, West Coast, you don't really get to see. There's some cold cats out there in the West, buddy, and we just don't get to see them.
I agree, man. Yeah. We're going to have to see who gets the MVP. You know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a hell of a year for it, that's for sure.
It's a hell of a year because there's some people that other people that are top candidates for it too that we didn't get to mention as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
We're going to have to see how it turn out. We're going to switch gears to the NFL though. You know what I mean? We got to talk about some pigskin. Talk about some pigskin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Patriot news and some Patriot news. The homie Julian Edelman retired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people say he not retired. I seen in an interview, I seen where Gronk said that it's a chance that he might come and join Tampa Bay. Corey, do you think Julian is done with the game, or you think we're gonna see him pop up down there in Tampa with good old Tom and Gronk trying to get that next ring and restore that feeling, man? What you think, man?
I'm going to answer your first question with 2 words regarding Julian Edelman and his so-called retirement. Hell no. Man, look, let me tell you something, man. If he's fully retired, then I got $1 million in my bank account right now. Okay. If he's so-called retired, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Okay, let me tell you something. I got a Batmobile in my garage right now. If you want to sit here and believe this motherfucker is retired, that dude ain't retired. Let me tell you something about Julian Edelman. This guy loves to play. Okay, that's number one. A lot of people love to play, but I'm telling you, if big bro Tom Brady and Robin sidekick Gronk call you up and be like, "Hey man, look, just 1 year." Just 1 year. Hey, look, let me tell you something, Mr. Julian Edelman. Look, man, you just saw what we did last year. You saw it. This is not me. We talked about this in a few podcast shows ago. Look, Tom Brady is that drug dealer who will show you the life. And obviously he's not a drug dealer, but when it comes to Super Bowl, he is. His resume speaks for itself. You look at Tampa Bay, aka Tampa Bay, and they basically had the same damn team that Jameis Winston had. The only difference was Tom Brady. So to think that it can't happen again, especially with another wide receiving threat, which is what Julian Edelman can be. He's a hellified guy in the slot, which you don't get enough credit for because a lot of wide receivers get props for the post. the outside, the tall cats, your Randy Moss. Man, he's like I say little, but relatively speaking, he's like a little gadget guy when it comes to running the slot receiver. And that pass that he caught basically in between his shoes during the Super Bowl a few years ago, I mean, that's what Julian Edelman does. I don't know his exact age, but I know you got to count NFL years like dog years, and I get all that. But I just don't get the sense that physically he can't do it anymore. I don't get that. Like, if you was to ask me the over under of, obviously when healthy, can Julian Edelman get you one more year? Yeah. And then you add Tom Brady, you got to add in the chemistry that they already have. Like, and then we're not 100% sure of the Antonio Brown, whether they're going to pick him back up or not. Man, look, all Tom Brady got to do is start talking that shit to him. Just one more year. Yeah, man, look, we just need you for one more year, man. We don't like look. You don't want to do OTAs, man. Don't worry about that. I'm a holler at Bruce. Yeah. Oh no, I know. Coach Arians. Yeah, I know the motherfucker is Bruce. Yeah, I'm a holler at Bruce. Look, man. Look, me, you, Gronk. We gonna take it easy. We ain't gonna be doing none of this. None of this voluntary workout stuff. No, don't worry about it. We got you. Just come to my house. I got a big ass backyard. I'm gonna toss you a couple of balls here and there. Me, you, Gronk, and a few other guys, and we're gonna work it out. But look, man. Everything that I done for you, man, I'm just asking for a year. I'm gonna hit you. Look, he's gonna hit him how my mother always hits me. Well, I don't ask you for much. I don't ask you for much. It ain't like I asked you a lot. I'm just asking you this one thing. That's that whole Jedi mantra that our mothers like to use. I don't ask you for much, man. Just one. And then here go Julian Edelman. Bet you by golly, wow, shucks. What the hell? I'll do it for the man. Fuck no, that guy ain't retired. Hell no, he's not retired. No, he's not retired. What say you? That guy ain't retired, man. I'm gonna go to Brooklyn and wrap up a couple of bridges. No way in hell. No.
Hey, I feel the same way, man. I feel the exact same way. I think we're gonna see Julian down there in Temple as soon as they make the draft choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think definitely they're waiting on the draft to make some moves. Then they're gonna acquire him. I think
which is smart.
Which is very smart. And I think as we speak, they are in talks with him about what to do, regarding him coming to Tampa. I guarantee it, man. It's a reason why Brock said that he's 69.9% sure that you may see him down there in Tampa. You know what I mean? So yes, I agree with you. I do not think he's retired by far. I think he was ready to get from maybe under the thumb of the Patriot way and go down and go down there and make something happen with his homeboys. You know what I mean? I think it's just that simple. I think he's following the Grunt blueprint of I'm retiring. Yeah. And then you go and do something else. You know what I mean? With Tom pop up down there. You know what I mean? So I think the table is set for him to come down there and do his thing. Simply, we just waiting.
And I wouldn't blame him for going down there. I mean, Tom. Look, I don't know anything about behind the scenes. I'm not an NFL player. Look, every episode I always say what I'm not. I'm not an NFL player. I'm not a doctor. I'm not this, that, and the third. But here's what I do know. I know it's not all fun and games, but I just think that Tom Brady has a way, especially if you're already familiar with him, of making things fun. Right. Because obviously these are all grown men. Like, Gronk is goofy and is that and the third, but he knows how and when to show up when it's the time. You think Julian Edelman can't do the same thing? Absolutely. Like, and again, they have a rapport. Now, that being said, if there was no such thing as a Tampa Bay and Tom Brady was out the league, then I would kind of believe that a little bit more. But I'm not calling. Everybody's having these Hall of Fame debates whether he's going to be in a Hall of Fame. It don't matter because you got to be retired for 5 consecutive years before they continue. So that's a conversation we can have once we believe that he is retired. But as it relates to the zone, it sounds like you're in alignment with me. That motherfather ain't retired nowhere.
No, he's not. He's not. No, not at all. Not at all.
No. If that's the case, I'm gonna drive my Lamborghini to work tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna do if he's retired. Okay, that's where I'm at with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're gonna be still keeping on the NFL. You know what I mean? But I hate to even discuss this next topic. Very sad and heartbreaking topic.
Yes, it is.
A few weeks ago, if you haven't heard, ex-NFL player by the name of Phillip Adams in South Hill, not South Hill, but in Rock Hill, South Carolina,
Yeah.
murdered a doctor, his wife, the wife of the doctor, I think it was,
Hmm.
their grandchildren as well.
Oh.
And I think a guy was there fixing the air conditioning unit or the heating and air unit.
Hmm.
I think he ended
Yeah.
up being in critical condition, if I'm not mistaken, or did he
Yeah.
kill him as well?
Yep.
Um,
He let's see, he was one of the two HVAC technicians working at home, and he stated when he went in the house, he went back through. He actually, yeah, he ended up dying 3 days later. Robert Shook,
okay.
one of the two HVAC technicians. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh boy.
this is man. When I read this story, man. My mind, of course, went first to, of course, CTE, like everybody else. Um,
Yep.
we don't. I've researched the story, and they haven't came out and said it was CTE just yet. They
Yeah.
haven't actually said that they had. Well, they haven't even said his reasoning for doing what he did, and just
Hmm.
killing the doctor. They do know that he was seeing the doctor. I think
Yeah.
medically, and I don't know the relationship, and we know what the doctor may have diagnosed him with, or things that were said.
Yeah.
We don't know the intangibles of the relationship between him and the doctor. We do know that it is
Yeah.
just very strange for just any individual I can imagine to just come in anybody home and just start just murdering people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and right now, while we're covering the story, we don't have a lot of evidence to say what really happened. We just know it's a tragedy.
No.
Um, it's another bad look for the NFL.
Yeah.
Especially with the latest Chad Willis situation. Um, uh, of the history of the NFL, with things happening that are tragedies like Junior Seau. Um,
Yep. Good one.
um, it's just a mis.
Aaron Hernandez. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
the list goes on, man. It's
Yep.
um, just an unfortunate list of situations that have led up
Yeah.
to this just being another black eye upon the NFL and the Shield. We can go on for
Yeah.
days, even with the tragedies that have involved NFL players. The quarterback that got killed by his girlfriend on the boat years ago.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Pardon me, but yeah, it's just really an unfortunate tragedy for sure. Especially, man, you know, I'm not condoning any of the deaths, man, at all. When I say this,
Yeah.
but did you really have to kill the grandkids too?
Yeah.
Corey, like that, and the thing another thing I don't like about the situation is, you know, don't be a coward and kill yourself at the end. Like Philip Adams, also, ladies and gentlemen, he killed himself at the end of all this. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, do your time. Face up to what you did. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't take the coward way out. Don't do this. Period. First and foremost,
Hmm.
you know, um, I mean, us being family, man. This just heartbreaking, man. It's just heartbreaking.
It it is. Um, you know, when when I saw this story, I was kind of like, you, when you look for reasoning or some type of motive, and you're not really going to have any. with this, unfortunately, and we may not ever know it. So they can't check for CTE until you died, obviously, and of course he's passed on. And then per ESPN, he will be evaluated for CTE. They can't really tell if you had CTE until they literally take the brain out of your skull and analyze it. However, they choose to do that. And when I saw this story, and I'm definitely not making light of it, but I'm like, who is this for? I'm pretty good with former 49ers.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with them myself. I wasn't familiar.
Every picture that they show in these damn headlines got him wearing a 49ers uniform. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, he played for like 6 other teams. But anyway, that don't have much to do with anything because this is a serious story. I'm just trying to lighten it up a bit. But look, I told my wife this because, with the other shootings of like, your FedEx shootings and things of that nature there, to me, murder suicide is one of the most selfish things that could be done in human history. Whatnot. I just feel like it is. And, this is where I'm probably going to catch some flack with this, but pardon it to just being my ignorance, or whatnot. Because there are some people that I know personally who are on the line of the train of thought of, oh, mental issues. Yeah, it should be forgiven because it's mental. And I'm not saying that it's not a mental issue, but in all of these, you look at the recent mass shootings of everywhere just for this year, 42 to 43 something mass shootings, which they consider the shooting of more than 5 people. It's funny. And it's not funny, but it's funny in this regards of that. It's interesting. It's just probably the better word. It's more interesting that when this stuff happens, they don't know right from wrong, but they know how to use a gun and pull the trigger. And you don't have to teach anybody about that. They know to do that, right? Like, and I'm not saying it's not mental. I'm just saying that there is something somewhere where because look, I go to a shooting range about once a year, and outside of a revolver, if you're I consider myself a novel gun user. I really can't tell you the different types of guns by just looking at it, and things of that nature. Long story short, I got a Smith & Wesson 40 cal that I brought out. And that was my first time using a semi-automatic weapon. And I would load it up, and I'm thinking I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, bow, 2 or 3 shots. And next thing you know, it gets jammed. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Maybe it's just, maybe a bad gun or whatever. Because it can't be me, right? So I called a guy at Shopping Calibers. Shout out to Calibers in Greensboro, great place to let some shots off at. And I said, look, man, why do my gun keep jamming? Is something wrong with my gun? Because I'm like, I got the receipt. I need to bring that mug back. And he was like, oh, no. With a semi-automatic, you're not cocking it right. And I said, well, what? To me, I mean, no homo. A cock is a cock. Like I pulled a hammer back and, whatever. No homo though. And he was like, nah, you got to when you pulling it back, you got to push it a certain way with this specific type of gun.
Okay. And
I said all that to say this, right? Like a revolver is really easy to use. It's so simple a caveman could do it. But with my 40, is because I'm a novice, and I keep going back because I'm a novice. I'm not a gun expert. It's certain things you have to do to let off multiple shots in a clear and concise manner. And it took the guy telling me like, oh, well, you're not loading it up and you're not cocking it properly. You got to pull it all the way back and then make sure it snaps all the way in front and you'll be good with that magazine. And so it's just interesting how, in other words, to me, you can't be a dummy using automatic or semi-automatic weapons. Now, there may be some gun people listening say, Corey, you don't know what you're talking about, and you may be 100% right. But these guys, I don't want to say that they wholeheartedly don't know what they're doing. And like you said, man, did you have to kill the kids too?
Yeah.
And I do agree that there's mental, like his father was on TV when this story initially broke. And I wish I knew his dad where he could have elaborated a little bit more. He said, football killed my son, period, point blank. Now, what do you mean by that? Because that's a
Yeah,
whole nother topic of
yeah,
conversation. Um, are you talking about this? Because he's been on 6 teams and he never really quite popped. So are you saying because he never quite found his footing, like a bit of career history on Phillip here? 49ers 2010, the Patriots 2011, the Seahawks 2011, the Raiders 2012, 2013, a practice squad member of the Seahawks back in 2014, Jets 2014, and the Falcons 2015. So you could argue that he was definitely a journeyman, wasn't quite a starter. Was that it? Or was it the rigors of being traded X amount of times, thinking that you're on and when you're not? Because my wife and I, we had a discussion about this actually last night, not about Phillip, but this was more so referring to the FedEx shooting, where the guy was a former employee.
right,
And you could argue that he didn't feel like he was treated right. And I promise I'm gonna try to send to Phillip Adams, where when you get let go. I've been laid off and fired within the same year back in '07. And a lot of jobs that I've worked in the past and even now, I've always had the privilege of saying, peace, I'm leaving. You ain't firing me, I'm out, right? And the point I'm getting at is that there is a sense of rejection when you're saying, hey, yeah, you're cool, but get out, right? Whether it's a layoff or whether it's an exact firing. Again, both layoff and firing happen to me in the same job. And I was telling my wife, I said, man, it would be really cool if there was some type of program in place, because I felt like, and I don't use this word lightly, I felt like I was depressed, because that was I was 24, 25 years old. I got my little college degree. I'm thinking I'm on top of the world, hot shit on the
right,
stick. You can't tell me nothing.
right,
And then somebody's like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's cool, but get out. Because even if you're laid off, what I did was, man, but they kept him over me, or they kept her over me. Like, okay, I may not have been everything that you wanted me to be in the employee, but I'm better than that guy that's still there. You let him go over me. And so getting to Phillips Adams, it makes you wonder, getting back to his dad, is like, well, was that it? Because I looked at the concussion history and I don't know, like, they say per ESPN.com, he suffered 2 known concussions. Now, again, I'm gonna tell you what I'm not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a brain surgeon, right? But I don't know how severe they were. We only really keep up with the stars when something happens with them, and even when you get a concussion, we're just like, okay, cool. They'll be out for a week, and hell, they'll be back, and this, that, and the third. But even though he only had 2, it may not be about the quantity as regards of quality of those shots. We're not talking about that when he played at South Carolina State, how many that he had there. We're not talking about the mental aspect of, where you come from high school. Oh, cool, man, you're going to be a top notch in college, and you come out of college, because he made the NFL. So
right.
just imagine getting to your quote unquote final destination of being in the NFL, and then finally at that moment being told you're not good enough. Forget CTE for 3.5 nanoseconds here. Again, I wish I had a therapist or someone to talk to back in '07 just to be like, hey, because everybody says that, oh, well, this is part of sports, professional sports. This is the business. Oh, you go, and first of all, you're 100% right. Yeah, that is the business. Yes, you are going to get traded 9 times out of 10. You're not going to say, you may get cut, or you may only get demoted to practice squad. You may only do this. Oh, you may only be backup. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We know that, but a lot of times for athletes to get to where they need to go in their career, you can't think like that. You can't make it to the NFL saying, oh, I'm just cool being a backup. Whoop-de-doo that day. I'm just chilling. Yeah, well, it's cool if I back up somebody. Like, no, you get that far, you want to play.
Yeah,
You want to play. And
yep,
so, again, you've been getting highly recruited all your life. You've been having your ass kissed probably since you was 8 or 9 years old, talking about how great you're going to be. And then it's like you get here and it's like, oh, you get to the NFL, all you see is a barrel of hay just blowing across, like, oh,
yeah,
this is it. So we don't know. We don't know, and we probably won't never know. I mean, I would imagine it'll be interesting. I'm quite sure that he got some form of CTE. Just me assuming, not know anything, because I can't think of anything rational that'll make you do what he did to kill all those people and the kid. Look, man. Even look, I watched The Godfather this weekend. Love my mafia gangster movies. They always have a rule. Hell, even in Sopranos, the women and children, they're off limits.
Off limits, man.
You don't touch them.
No women and kids, man. No women and kids.
You leave the women and kids alone, bro. Like that. Like, so, so something was operating where it just didn't happen. But again, he had the frame of mind to get in the car, drive there, because he knows how to do that, right? He knows how to because see, I could see if you just totally forget and you forget how to do any and everything. But no, you know how to put the keys in the truck or the car, whichever one it was. You know how to drive there. You know how to lay them cats out. You know how to rush. And then not only that, Big V, you know that when the cops finally do pull up on you at your house, you know not to open the door. Like, you know that. Like, you know to do that. And it's like, you know that you're about to 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, you're going to get life. And you don't want to live through this. So I'm going to take myself out. So you knew that much. So, I mean, that's when I would love to defer to a mental health expert, because I'm quite sure they could say I'm being harsh. It's just all I'm saying, again, for the umpteenth time, it's just interesting when you're in a certain mental state that certain things you know how to do and certain things you don't. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead and diss me in the comments. I'm here for it. We ain't supposed to agree on everything, but it's so tragic for the family and everyone that's involved, including the I mean, the doctor owned his own business. What are they going to do now? They're going to have to go get other jobs. They ain't nowhere for them to work anymore. Like, I mean, so I just love to know what his father meant by football killed my son. I would just wish he would expound a lot more on that, but he probably won't. And we always keep hearing, oh, my kid was a great kid. He never hurt anybody. He never showed any signs of it. That's what kind of makes me point to CTE. But I pray for all those families that's involved. That's extremely sad, man. It really is. But I just asked for ESPN and anybody else. Can you show them some other pictures of, like, in Raiders uniforms and Seahawks? They don't have to all be 49. You can mix some of them. I mean, you can still keep the Niners, but I'm just like, motherfucker, you got to be kidding me. Like, but that's a little bit of a light mood that I got with that. But yeah, it sucks for everyone that's involved.
Yeah, man. Prayers for everybody involved. Prayers for all the families involved. Man, just terrible. Yeah. Just terrible, man.
It is.
Man.
Yes, sir.
That's our show for the day, man. You know what I mean? We're glad that y'all tuned in with us to get your latest sports news. Told y'all we're going to be hitting y'all every week, you know what I mean, with the latest and greatest, man. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all shopping at Skyzone.Society.BigCartel.com. Make sure y'all subscribing to the Skyzone.Society network on SoundCloud and on YouTube, man. You know what I'm saying? And spread the word about the Zone Sports Podcast, baby. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, much love. You know.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And like I said, but before we go real quick, like I said, anybody doubting what I said about Steph Curry, man, if y'all talk to Jesus, as everyone should, but ain't about to preach tonight. But he'll verify the story that I said. Don't worry about it. My sweet baby Jesus, he don't be lying to nobody. So that's all. Holla at sweet baby Jesus. Holla at the boy.
Hey, watch Jesus Christ, aka Steph Curry, when you get a chance. You know what I mean? Yo. Tune in on Saturday for us. Keep the promotion coming, man. Keep the love coming. We'll appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Corey, you be safe out here. I'll be COVID-free.
You too, my brother.
I'll be COVID-free tomorrow. I know you'll be COVID-free this week. You know what I'm saying? Soon.
Yes, sir. Thursday for me, buddy. Thursday, I will be fully vaccinated, big dog.
Absolutely,
like officially.
Man,
Can't wait.
I got about 5 more hours. I'll be fully back.
The countdown is real. Word up.
Yes, sir. You know what I mean? Yo, hopefully y'all being safe out there. You know what I mean? Get your vaccination if you choose to do that. You know what I mean? Regardless what you do, make sure you tune into the zone, baby. You know what I mean?
That's right. We got you.
Corey, I'm going to hit you up, my nigga. You be safe this week, bro.
All right, big time. Hey, you too, big dog.
Already, man. Peace, bro.